Good morning, everyone. All right, time to go put the links in all the places. We're live. We did it once again. Happy Wednesday. Halfway through spring break. It's funny, all of this time has gone so slow. It feels like March lasted forever. And yet, spring break to me feels like it has gone by oh so fast. How's everyone doing this morning? Go ahead, jump in the chat. Tell me that you're here. Say hi. Love to be able to say hi to you all this morning. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Hello. Hey, Gunica. Hey, Jacqueline. Hey, Miss Garcia. Miss Garcia, it has felt like the longest month of ever. The fact that we really only started all this, we got the first notice that we were going to be distance learning on the 13th. Crazy. It's not even been a whole month. Morning, Jacqueline. Good. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm doing great this morning. I was able to wake up pretty much right on time, like almost before my alarm went off, which is rare. So that was great. Hi, Mom. Mom, I'm going to read the poem you suggested today. I'm taking suggestions now, y'all. You tell me what poem you want me to read, what book you want me to talk about. Happy to do it. Bring it on. Jacqueline, how did your Rosetta Stone go yesterday? Did you learn a bunch of new words? Maybe some new grammar? Parler français? That's all I got. Oh, except Mr. Boyle did at one point tell me a great joke about two cats in a swimming race, and it ends with teaching us how to count to 5 in French. So there we go. Because the trois, quatre, cinq is the end of the joke. It's pretty good. That's really all the French I got, though. Oui, that's it. The Rosetta Stone is great, actually. Awesome. That's really good. I know, especially, it's probably better knowing that those things are free, but I always find like you just never know if they're going to be super helpful or not. A bit repetitive, yeah. That makes sense. I mean, part of it is trying to probably purposefully be repetitive so that it sticks in your brain better. I spent a while doing Duolingo for Spanish, but I never found it that helpful because I actually remember a lot of words in Spanish. What I have lost over the years is verb tenses. So I'll even remember the verb that I want to use, but I can't figure out how to put it in the right tense anymore. So that's not super helpful. So there you go. It's one of the things I want. I think practicing with a native speaker is actually really helpful because when you can practice with somebody, especially like our Spanish teachers at school, they're really good at helping figure out what you're trying to do. So that's always helpful for me. Any big Wednesday spring break plans today? I don't have much. I gotta do some planning. We gotta figure out what my new goals look like in a world of quarantine. I like to set goals for the month, so I'm gonna be doing that today. And then got to figure out what we're doing for school, especially for that AP class. I got to come up with some good ideas depending on what the test is. They kept talking about people having flowers and then repeating phrases throughout the day at random. It's pretty good. Just like various people with flowers, or like, was it specific vocabulary around flowers? It's very interesting. Miss Garcia, lesson planning. Yeah, ditto. Lesson and goal planning. See, it's a first of the month thing. Mom, you like to babble? Mom, was Babel free or is that a paid one? Oh, I wonder. I know Rosetta Stone is usually a paid one, so I wonder if Babel, even if it's paid, if they have a free promotion right now. That might be really helpful. Yeah, Miss Garcia, just think about a few months ago at Goal Party. Who would have thunk that this is where we would end up? All right. So the plan for today on this YouTube live, um, pretty much same format we've always done. We're gonna do a poem. We're gonna do a book. They're gonna be fun. We hope. Mom, Babbel is paid. I wonder if they have a free promotion going on right now. Oh, first 6 months last year at half price. I bet they're doing something like Rosetta Stone then, something free for, um, for quarantine. Because what else are you gonna do when you're stuck at home other than learn new languages, practice new crafts, all that good stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna get started. We'll start with our poem, I think. Probably doing more Rosetta Stone. The flower sentences are to practice pretense conjugations. Oh, I have flowers, they have flowers. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. I wonder why they couldn't pick a different noun? Like, did it all really have to be flowers, or could it be like, I have flowers, she has coffee, right? Like, come on, let's practice that noun vocabulary too. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna start with our poem for today. This is the one that my mom suggested after wanting me to read a specific poet yesterday. She texted me last night and told me exactly which poem I should do. So here we go. This is going to be The Guest House by Rumi. And I'll put the title in the chat for those of you who want to look it up. So, The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. That's a good one. That's a good one, Mom. I like that one. Especially with us spending so much time at home, it's a nice metaphor, right? For our inner selves as a home and all the emotions that we're feeling right now as being something that we should welcome in. Especially right now, the sort of loneliness and some of the challenges that we are feeling. We really just can't control so much of what's going on the outside. So being able to control that acceptance and that welcoming of whatever may come seems like a really good practice. So thanks, Mom, for that suggestion. Stuck on and maybe just want to hear aloud. I'd love to read whatever poem you have. Oh, good morning, Marissa. Nice to see you. Oh, you're welcome, Mom. Glad you liked it. Thanks for suggesting. Okay, so this one I think is fun. We're gonna do a book talk today on a book about a world traveler. Or is he? Who knows? It's so fun. So we're going to be talking about Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. Okay. I have it here on Hoopla. They have it as both an ebook and an audiobook. Oh, I'm glad you guys like the poem. I thought it was good too. So Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. So Jonathan Swift is a satire writer. He wrote in, oh goodness, first published in 1726. So it's an old book. But Jonathan Swift writes with a sharp wit and humor and satire. My absolute favorite from him is a short story, a novella called An Indecent Proposal, where England was in the midst of a famine, and he wrote this whole poem about, you just eat the Irish babies and it'll end the famine. That lots of people took very seriously, and it was sort of bad for him. But it's a very funny, very sharp humor. And Gulliver's Travels is much the same. It follows this man named Mr. Gulliver, who is a world traveler. But he travels to exotic places that nobody else has ever seen or heard of or witnessed. And it's unclear throughout the novel if these are places that he has actually traveled or not. It's very possible that this guy is just crazy, just absolutely out of his mind, and is imagining all of these places. But there's also some evidence that this is all real, and he is just unique, right? The only one who could have found these places, which I think is just really fun for this time when we were all stuck at home to think about this imaginative place finding. It's also really good for those of us who are thinking about in the AP skills that how does the reliability of a narrator affect the narrative? This book is a really fun one to think about the reliability of a narrator. So it is old, 1700s, and it sort of reads that way. But if you can get past the language, the book is actually really fun. And it has a lot of words in there that were sort of created based on these places that Gulliver is going, that are now just like words in the English language that you might see on an AP test or an SAT or an ACT. Like I was just talking to actually Miss Garcia the other day about like my new couch, and she called it Brobdingnagian, which just means huge, giant, which is a word that came from Gulliver's Travels. He first travels to the world, the land of Brobdingnagians, whatever. Those are the people. They are massive giants. He goes to the land of the Lilliputians, which are these itty bitty places. It's the first place he goes. And he is like a huge giant to these tiny people. And those are two words that you'll actually hear that you might see on the SAT, the ACT, places like that. So it's fun. It's a fun book if you can get past the sort of challenging language, and you'll learn a lot of really cool and fun words. So let me go ahead and type this one into the chat. And it's also really easy to find because it's another one that's in the public domain. There's a Jack Black movie that is about based on Gulliver's Travels. I haven't seen it, so I can't recommend it one way or the other. But yeah, so I'm going to read part of the first chapter. It's the end of the first chapter. So I'm going to skip a little bit, which is like his background, who his parents are, who he's married to, all that good stuff. And I like this passage because it gives us some idea of what the book is about, but also gives us a hint at his unreliability. So, but my good master, Mr. Bates, dying in 2 years after, and I having few friends, my business began to fail. for my conscience would not suffer me to imitate the bad practice of too many among my brethren. Having therefore consulted with my wife and some of my acquaintance, I determined to go again to sea. I was surgeon successively in 2 ships, and made several voyages for 6 years to the East and West Indies, by which I got some addition to my fortune. My hours of leisure I spent reading the best authors, ancient and modern, being always provided with a good number of books. And when I was ashore, in observing the manners and dispositions of the people, as well as learning their language, wherein I had great facility by strength of my memory. So, the whole idea of the book is that this man has done all this traveling, and he just has this great memory of all of the things he's seen and experienced. From these little itty bitty miniature people to massive, huge giants as big as trees, to horse-looking people who talk. And it's just fun, and it's funny in a really dry, satirical way. So I really recommend it. I think it's a fun read. And you know what? Honestly, a lot of us might be feeling like some Gullivers right now, stuck at home, reminiscing on our wonderful travels of the past, and maybe making up some new travels that were just in our imagination. Who knows? It's fun. All right. So that's what I got for today. That's our poem. That's our book talk. What else do we got? What questions do we have? What are we thinking about today? What are we excited about? For those of us who are in here, what are we reading? I know I'm doing these book talks every day, but you're probably not getting through a book a day. Actually, Miss Garcia, didn't you say that that's one of your goals is to read a book a day? But for all of us, I'm curious about what you're actually reading right now. I'm still reading the Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I'm about 2/3 of the way through with that one. It's been really fun. The main character, Elizabeth, has just made it to Pemberley. So if you know, you know. And then I'm also reading They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. That's the one I've been listening to. And I'm again probably 2/3 of the way done with that one. A steampunk novel called The Girl with the Iron Touch. I've never heard of that one. Miss Garcia, you're a book behind. Video games are distracting. What video games are you playing? I was just listening to a podcast, and they were talking about World Health Organization has said that video games are one of the best things that we can be doing during this time, especially if they are multiplayer games, because they can help us feel connected. So that's fun. You've read Astrophysics for Busy People. That sounds confusing. Oh, and then you're working on Of Mice and Men and One of Us is Lying. I actually really like both of those books, Of Mice and Men and One of Us is Lying. So different, but really good. I like them both. Mom, you're listening to the Cider House Rules on Hoopla and reading The Gentleman from Moscow. I don't know either of those ones. Miss Garcia, you're playing Civilization 6. Yeah. My big distraction has been watching old seasons of Spring Baking Championship, which is like a Food Network show. Why? I don't know. I find it comforting. Marissa, you're still reading The Handmaid's Tale. That's awesome. Oh, but you're still working on your passion project. That's awesome, right? Isn't that kind of the goal? One of the things that I was getting stuck on how much I have not been reading, and it was starting to bug me, which is why I downloaded an audiobook. Because like you, I've been working on my passion project and on a couple other sewing projects. And so having the audiobook means that I can still listen to my book and do my sewing, which I really have been enjoying. Jacqueline, you've been reading an oceanography textbook. Oh, that's interesting. I'm thinking about rereading Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. That's fun. That's super fun. Yeah, I've never read Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, but I know that it's super popular, so I'm sure it's worth a reread. So Miss Garcia, I watched like an episode or two of the Great British Bake Off, and I didn't like it. Please don't judge me. I know that it's like the show to watch, but I'm like super close to being done with all of the seasons of Spring Breaking Championship, so I might try it again. Don't hate me. Um, Marissa, you just got the book Hidden Bodies by Carolyn Katniss. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, it's the second book of You. I remember you writing about that in an essay, maybe. So that's awesome. Miss Garcia, I'm sure it will survive. I'll try it again. I'll try watching it again. Maybe it'll sit better. Um, now that I have more time to focus on it. Maybe that was the problem. Who knows? All right. All right. So we've been on for like 22 minutes. So I think I'm gonna head out. Thank you all for coming. I know that in during spring break it's sometimes hard to get up and show up really anywhere at 8 a.m., even if it's just to your computer. So I'm really glad that some of you are continuing to get up and do that. I hope that this is still fun and exciting for you. It certainly is for me. It's something that I'm looking forward to every morning. So with that, I'm gonna head out. Let me know if there's any poems or books that you want me to read or talk about in the next couple days. Feel free to just email me, tell me what you want to see, or tweet me, whatever works. And other than that, I will see you all tomorrow, bright and early, 8 a.m. All right. All right. Always remember who you are, what you represent, and to show your Mustang pride. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.